Oh, welcome back, gentle listeners, to the podcast. This is your host, Pat Flynn, and we have a very special treat for you today. We are joined by the mighty Professor Dr. Jim Madden, and we're going to give you a program, a full, totally, awesomely old school program.
Old school.
I mean, this is as old school as it gets, my friend. So stay tuned. This episode is definitely going to be worth your time because no catches, no gimmicks, no strings attached. We're going to walk you through a truly old school, utterly fascinating, highly effective boomer strength conditioning man-making program called the 65 Mustang and Muscle Program. Yep. And this is good, guys. This is good, and we're going to challenge you to take it, use it, get awesome results, share it back with us. This is our gift to you. You know, Jim was just so excited, especially after our conversation with about McCallum's book and the Keys of Progress, to go and create something in the spirit of that. And now we have it. And it's going to be presented before you here in just a minute. But first, Professor, great to have you back. Give us a little bit of background. What are we getting into today? What is this all about?
I mean, we had a great convo about the complete keys to progress. Remember, it's not just the keys to progress. It's the complete keys. You need nothing more. This is it. Necessary and sufficient conditions, right, for progress you have in McCallum's book. And by the way, we agree. Okay. And so there was a great reaction. People wanted to really get a sense how they could work out like Uncle Harry works out. And that's what we're providing here. That's what we've done. Right. Mm-hmm. And this program is not, it's not just a workout. It's not just a diet. It's a lifestyle. It's like a worldview, right? It's
yeah. Like this is something you don't run this program. You embody it.
You embody it. Yeah. I mean, it's a way of being in the world, right? It's not just a program. You see, like it's going to get a little intimate at certain points, but it has to be.
And none of these components are negotiable. You're either fully in or fully out. So
are you doing the program or not, son? That's it. Right.
So let me ask a favor. Since we're giving this program to you guys, we just asked a few things. If you like what we're doing here, hit that subscribe button, share, commit to this program, drink the Schlitz. We got some Schlitz coming for you, and tell us how it does for you. You know, when we get this stuff out, we really not only hope that you use it, but we like to hear the feedback. We'd like to hear a couple weeks from now that you're feeling awesome. That's gratifying. So just do us that.
Mm-hmm. If like Uncle Harry, if you end up being a guy in his 50s dating women half his age, we want to know that too, because that is part of what McCallum promises Uncle Harry in the complete keys to progress. So
awesome. So if you did not listen to the conversation Jim and I had last week, it was called The Best Fitness Book You Never Heard Of, and it was The Complete Keys of Progress by John McCallum. And this program is, of course, inspired by a lot of the themes and principles in there. Jim has called it the 65 Mustang and Muscle Program. Should we get right into it, Professor? All right, we're gonna pull it up. By the way, guys, we will make this PDF available for you for free. I'll put the links in the show notes. I'll just post it on the blog or somewhere. We'll make it easy for you guys to download it so you have it written out. Simple, but we're gonna just talk through the whole thing and make sure you have all the details. Sound good? Here we go. All right, so we're gonna pull it up. Is that visible? Yes, it looks like it. If you're listening to the podcast, we will also just read everything. But again, you can download the PDF for your convenience. So here we go, Jim. Let's do it. Take it away.
All right. The 65 Mustang and Muscle Program, an ode to Uncle Harry. First, you need to obtain and read John McCallum, The Complete Keys to Progress from Iron Mind. Link provided, right? Yep. To Amazon. Okay. Because we're only scratching the surface of the awesome that's available here. Okay. Now, it is important that one be equipped properly to do this program. There are not the equipment demands this program are fairly low, but they are stringent. Is that fair to say?
And there is a uniform. That's right.
Yeah, and including the apparel. Okay, so first, you have no business doing this program until you obtain a gray or terry tracksuit. Okay, which is basically elastic bottom Rocky Balboa style sweatpants and a matching sweatshirt. Okay, so it's got to be gray top and bottom, elastic bottoms on those sweatpants, right?
Non-negotiable.
Better have a drawstring too. Like I want that drawstring pulled tight, bow knot, right? We got to see that's got to go. Okay. Now that sweatshirt when you're working out is to be tucked in
at all times.
At all times, right? That is how it was done in 65, and it's how it needs to be done now. If this is right.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Now, if it's hot out, we understand concession to the heat. You can have a sleeveless sweatshirt. I don't know if you've ever seen pictures in the old days. The guys with the sleeveless sweatshirt. And I know there's a certain paradox there, but just go with it. Right? Embrace the paradox of the sleeveless sweatshirt. All right. In case of excessive cold, a knit hat, but with a tassel on top.
Of course.
All right. Now, this is where it gets a little intimate, but this is very important for the program.
Could it be more essential? Yeah.
It's essential for the program. You have to have a brand Duke jock strap for the gentleman in this program. Right? You have to. No, we don't want any pictures of this.
Got to keep it all together. This is it's all about being well knit. Right.
But there was no one in 1970 working out who didn't have a Duke. Am I right?
Dude, I mean, what happened? Why was there a sundown rule in the Duke jockstrap in the gym? Right?
It's funny. Like when I was like in 4th grade and went out for wrestling, you were just like issued the Duke, right?
Right.
Like just everyone,
Forget the mouth guard. Put this on. Right?
Yeah. We didn't wear mouth guards to wrestle in 4th grade back in Q1
because you guys had your priorities straight.
Yeah, right? But you wore the Duke, man. Right? I remember that. I was given one, and I'm now like I don't think it's a thing anymore.
No, nobody wears a Duke, at least not in the gym.
What is happening to our testosterone levels currently?
Yeah, in the gutter, man.
In the gutter. I know correlation is not causation, Pat,
but it often signals a dependency relation.
Right? So I think right now on the Pat Flynn Show, we are demanding that the Duke make a comeback. Right?
An area for important research should be done. Put the Duke on, strap it on, right? Yeah,
and just watch the muscle grow when you put that thing on. Okay, all right.
You do feel just like stronger, right? Like you feel invincible, right? So much less is the world is so much less threatening when you've got the Duke on.
You're supported. You're supported, right?
Chuck Taylors, obviously.
Yeah, obviously this is no brainer. You got to have a pair of black and white Chuck Taylors, preferably high tops, but there's some latitude there. Sweatbands around the head or the wrists are allowed, not required, but they're allowed. And really, once again, if the heat's a problem, tight workout trunks, and you must refer to them as trunks.
Yes.
With a drawstring are acceptable.
Right.
Okay. So
notice that this is, again, gentle listeners, this is not recommended apparel. This is required apparel.
This is required apparel. Okay.
It's all about the embodiment, putting yourself into the appropriate time and place to get the most out of this program.
If you don't feel like an extra in one of the Rocky films, early Rocky films, then you're not doing this right.
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Okay, now, great. For the warm up.
All right, stage is set. So now we're getting into the actual good type of stuff, right?
Maybe you got your sweatband on. Warm up. Number one thing, you must apply generous amounts of hot liniment rubs. Something like Tiger Balm, right? I mean, I remember when I was like playing football in high school. One of my coaches, Teddy Melanson, and he looked like a guy named Teddy Melanson, right? Totally. God rest his soul. Yeah. And there was just he had this just jar of this opaque goo that you covered yourself in this before you did anything, right? And it hurt like hell.
Yeah.
Right. So, but you must apply generous amounts of some sort of hot liniment. Tiger Balm is still readily available, so that might be the way to go. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then, you warm up, you might do some jumping jacks, some toe touches where you kind of get that bounce thing going. Right?
Yeah. Dude, people laugh at this, but those old school warm ups are great. Shoot, man, I still do jumping jacks. Great little exercise, man. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there should be some sweat through on that tracksuit before you can begin your workout.
A couple stains here and there.
Yeah. Right. If you're not kind of pitting out in that thing, by the time you're not ready to go.
Okay. Yeah. So do your jumping jacks. If something's tight, stretch it with toe touches. Yeah. Get down into a squat, thrust up. Just get that heart rate. Just get that heart rate up. Get the blood flowing. Cold putty snaps, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Right. And really, like you should. The eyes need to be watering from the liniment. So.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now we get to our workout. Strength workout. This will happen 3 times a week. Okay.
Great.
You can perform the following exercises in circuit fashion. Okay.
Now, remember, thinking back to Callum, he was a big fan of this style of training. You know, throughout his book and Peripheral Heart Action, he's this is heavily inspired by what Callum is prescribing. We're giving it to you in the concrete.
Exactly. So you can do some kind of squat, 10 to 12 reps, some kind of overhead press, 10 to 12 reps, pull-ups or rows, or 8 to 10, right? Dips or horizontal bench press, something like that, 10 to 12. Deadlift, 10 to 12. Abs, 25. Okay. Any variation of those movements will work. All right.
Yeah. So for example, you might start with front squats, 10 to 12, military press, 8 to 10.
Yep.
You know, bent over rows, 8 to 10. You could just go straight up dips right there, 10 to 12, or a floor press or a bench press. Deadlift variation is almost always deadlift, but you could do single leg deadlift or trap bar deadlift or something like that. Romanian deadlift. Yeah. Abs, a lot of options there. I'm a big fan of hanging leg raises, bent knee raises, stuff like that. Right. Yep.
Now, McAllen would have you do
cuddle sit-ups.
Cuddle sit-ups, right? Or the decline sit-ups on the board, he calls them. Right?
Yeah, which are still a great exercise. And that is a Rocky exercise for sure.
Once again, if Rocky's doing it, it's allowed.
It's legit. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Any variation works. Rest as little as possible between exercises and rounds. You should keep this moving. You should be huffing and puffing while you're doing this. This is the only anaerobic component to this program. Right.
Yep.
Okay. Begin with very little weight, maybe even body weight. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. And increase the load through the fourth round. Okay. Yeah. The fourth round, you should be at about like 1 rep short of failure. Okay. Yep. Then hit 2 more rounds, decreasing the weight each round.
Yeah.
So you end up with 6 total rounds in this thing.
Yeah. Right? So let me emphasize that because that's a really important component, right? So you're loading up to an aggressive intensity. So like in that fourth round, you really want to be right next to failure, right? Yes. Right next to failure. So that is going to be a lot of humor here, obviously, but also seriously, like that's got to be really, really tough, right?
Things have gotten unpleasant there.
Yeah. And then you're going to back off for the last 2 rounds, right? And how much are we backing off for those last 2 rounds?
I'd go maybe 10% each round. You know what I mean? Enough to stay in the rep ranges, right?
Yep.
But I don't want those last rounds to be like complete burnout death sets. Just get some work in. That the money is set for. That's the money set for the day.
Yep. Right? Yep. Your RPE is very, very high. We're like 9-ish there, right? And then the rounds after maybe like a 7 or an 8, something like that.
Like
right?
you're not beating yourself down there, but you're getting some more work in, keeping the heart going for 2 more rounds. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, get a little scroll here.
Yeah. Oh, I'll give you a little scroll. Here we go. Coming down.
All right. So, if you're working with kettlebells or dumbbells, try to use doubles. Try to use two kettlebells or 2 dumbbells. Right. I think double variations can be much better for this. Right.
Of course. Yeah. Naturally.
Now, if at all possible. Right. Okay, if you don't have enough variability in weights, just play with the reps. So like maybe round 1 is like 2 or 3, maybe round 2 is 4 or 5, round 3 is 6 or 7, and then like in round 4 you're up to like your 10 to 12 or whatever it is, right? So if you don't have enough weights, play with vary intensity with volume. Okay, now finally, ideally, you would do this program with iron cast globe dumbbells. That would be ideal. Or the iron cast globe barbells.
Right.
I know not a lot of people have those, so the kettlebells are a concession here. Right?
Yeah. Big do with what we have in our current era. Real quick, it would be acceptable, I take it, that if somebody has access to a full gym, this could easily be a mixed modality type of thing, right? You can plug in the barbell for the deadlifts. You can use kettlebells for the overhead press. You could use dumbbells for the bench press and just kind of put the best tool to each job if that's available to you, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Floor press is like, if you're at the gym on Monday, which is like International Bench Press Day, right?
Yeah.
And you can't get a bench, just floor press the dumbbells, man.
Yeah, great. I mean, just to like, if I were to run this tomorrow, which might be the case, I would do front squat. I would do that with kettlebells. I would do overhead press with kettlebells. I would do straight up pull-ups, obviously, but with the pull-up bar, but you could weight it with kettlebells or whatever. I would go dips, same thing, weight it with kettlebells. I would use barbell for deadlift, and I would just go hanging leg raise for abs. That would be the Pat Flynn selection.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did this the other day, just because after the show, I've done it in the past, but man, it kicked my butt with kettlebell pairs, and it really kicked my butt.
Well, remember back to that essay, you know, we do have required reading. You have to read Callum's essay. I would actually suggest start with his essay on hard work, because that's going to set the right mindset for all of this, right? And I won't say anything more about it. Just start with that section of his book. You'll find it very inspiring.
Right. Now, conditioning 3 times a week. Okay. You're going to go to a track. Okay. And if there's like a football team or something working out in the field, all the better, because we're old school here, man. Okay, you're gonna go to a track, high school, college, whatever, right? You're gonna jog 20 laps. That's what you're gonna do. Okay.
Totally old school. So simple.
So it's gonna be boring as hell, but that's okay, because it's old school and things were boring back in the day, man. Right? Okay. You're gonna jog 20 laps, right? If you can do this in the morning, fasted, okay, all right. Keep your pace within the talk test. This shouldn't be hard, right? So if you can't sing the opening verse of the Rolling Stones, satisfaction, you're going too fast. All right, or like if you can't do more than a feeling, it's a little later, but yeah, right. If you can't sing the chorus to your favorite classic rock tune, you're going too fast. This should be slow gear.
And it can't be like Pat Flynn's classic rock, because that's too late. It's too late.
Too late. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I mean,
Van Halen's too late for this.
Yeah. By the time we get to Van Halen, we're too late.
We're too late. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you can't make 20 laps, that's cool. Just work your way up to it. Right. This should not be a beatdown. I did this morning. Right. And I just feel awesome and refreshed. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's how.
And that's the goal to get to, of course.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And your goal. Yeah. Try it. Like ideally you'll get this in 45 to 60 minutes. Right. And keep in mind, like, okay, so 20 laps on the inside of the track is going to come out to 5 miles, right? Mm-hmm. But I'll talk about this in a second here. I run up and down the lanes to keep track of my laps. Mm-hmm. So I end up doing more than 5 miles, right?
Sure.
So you might end up with, it's going to be like 5 miles ish, but it might be a little longer. So just shoot for like 10-minute miles, right? Mm-hmm. If at all, just get it in. Like if where you're starting is, I love the train. That's right. You have a train in your backyard.
Yeah, we do. Literally, right.
If where you're starting is like 12-minute miles, it doesn't matter. Just get it in. Just get your laps in. If you can only do 6 laps, do 6 laps. That's fine. But just get your laps in.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And this, before anyone asks, no substitutions.
No substitutions.
Don't say, hey, instead of running, no.
Okay.
Why? No,
because this is what you had. There weren't substitutions available in 1969.
That's right. You get what you get.
You had a track. Right. Mm-hmm. That's what we did, right? Okay. Now, if counting laps is a problem, and I admit for me, it is. I have a hard time counting the laps. All right.
Yeah, it is hard, especially once you get in the past like 2 for me, right? Yeah.
So I start in lane 8, and then each lap I work in one lane. Okay. And then after I finish my lap in lane 1, I work my way back out. And then after I finish lane 8, I work my way back in. Okay. If you do that, when you get to lane 3 the second time, you're at 20 laps and you're done.
Awesome.
Okay,
good.
So just keep that. Right.
If you haven't done any running in a while, this will be good for you. Trust me. Yeah. Okay.
This is totally optional, but it's acceptable. If once a week you want to do hill or stadium stair sprints or quarter-mile repeats, that is acceptable, right? Just how many should I do? As soon as you're sweating through the tracksuit, you're done.
You're done. Okay. Great.
Yep. I'll take. Okay. Don't have to do that because you're going to get pretty anaerobic in your circuits on your strength days, right?
And that's key. That's key. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. If you
and it's optional for once a week. That's it.
Once a week at most. And maybe better would be once every other week even, right? Because you're going to now. In cases of severe weather, you may ride an Airdyne, but it's got to be one of the old steel jobs that came from a nursing home in 1982.
Yeah, and you should be up to date on your tetanus.
Yes, exactly. If there's not rust on that thing that you're worried about, it's a problem. So old, heavy, if it would take 2 dudes to move it, then that Airdyne is acceptable.
That's right. Send pictures for approval. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
We got the Strong On group for a reason. Right. There we go. Yep.
Diet.
Oh, this is it. This is the key component.
This is key, right? You should eat the following: meat, poultry, fish, and by fish, I mean cans of sardines.
Bone in,
skin on, right? Eggs, milk, cheese, veggies, and very limited carbs. Okay. No processed sugar. And it's interesting. McAllen was 100% on that. No processed sugar.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So no garbage pseudo foods. Right?
No hyper palatable foods. If it's got a slogan that you can't eat just one, take them at their word. Stay away.
Exactly. And man, they knew that in 65, man.
They really did, man. They perennial wisdom.
Perennial wisdom. Your first and primary meal of the day should be lunch, and it should be steak, eggs, and spinach. I'm 100% on that, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like guys, Jim is not a joker, man. He sends me like, just finish my steak and eggs, Pat, after my 25. He's living this. He's embodied it.
This is, I know, right? I'm living this, right? Yeah. So your first and primary meal of the day is steak, eggs, and spinach, man. And I'm serious about the spinach. I have gotten really into spinach as like
sausage, which is great. Absolutely, man. Right? Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Okay. You should eliminate alcohol except for your Friday night cheat meal, which may include up to a 6-pack of Schlitz, Old Milwaukee, or original Budweiser in the can. But that's it, right?
Those are your options.
Yeah. It's okay on Friday night for your cheat meal to kill a Schlitzer, of Schlitz, right? That's okay. Other than that, no booze.
That's it. That's it, guys. Yeah, and trust me, this is. I love that the Beast, the Old Milwaukee guy.
Yeah, the Old Milwaukee
made the cut in there, right? Yeah. And like when we mean original Budweiser, like no Bud Light.
No Bud Light. It's
original.
It's got to be the red and white cans of Bud that my dad drank in Vietnam. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And before you ask, can I drink this? No.
No.
No. The answer is no.
If you could not have bought this beer on tap for a nickel on the south side of Milwaukee in 1971, it is not allowed.
Yeah, none of this, hipster doofus PBR stuff. No.
That's been co-opted now.
That's right.
It had its time, but now it's been co-opted. Okay. All right. Daily non-exercise activity. And I love it. McAllen was on this too. Like you hear all these people talking about these innovative fitness people have claimed to discover that it's as important to have daily activity as it is to have exercise, like concentrated exercise. Well, guess what? They knew that in 1967 too, right? Okay. So one, you need to cultivate active hobbies, swimming, dancing. McAllen's big on social dancing, right? So swimming, dancing, martial arts. Now for this program, boxing, judo, or kung fu are preferred.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Right.
Because once again, now BJJ is a concession, one I make for myself, but really on this program, she's doing boxing, judo, or kung fu, right? Because once again, what were they doing in 1967, right? Hiking, surfing, or kung fu, hiking, surfing, that sort of thing. Like those should be among your leisure activities, right?
And this is all part of that embodiment.
Yes.
Yes, we're having fun, but we mean this. You should go out and you should practice a martial art, and you should also hit these other things, which Jim is going to talk about.
Exactly. And I love McAllen says this. You should read challenging books. You should learn new languages. You should practice new skills, right? Like learn how to, learn how to smith, learn how to do carpentry, like that sort of thing.
Pick up a musical instrument, right? Read a little Boethius.
Yeah, exactly. All that should be a part of it, right? Okay. And also walk or ride a bike for practical transportation as much as possible. I know, like if you live in the standard American suburban nightmare, that'll get you killed, right? But if you don't, take advantage of walking or riding a bike for transportation as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Awesome.
And the bottom line, don't overcomplicate fitness and follow this program for years. Right. That's it.
This is the 95-year plan, my friends.
Exactly.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I love everything about that. And yes, gentle listeners, there are a few tongue-in-cheek moments there, but it's all 100% do this. For real, do this. And I actually challenge all of you to take this up. About the Duke, legit. Like we want to see you with the take the selfie with the sweat stains.
Yeah.
It's clear that you're following the required uniform and take this up. Challenge yourself. You're going to love the training. I promise you. If you run those circuits with the right intensity, you're going to see just how serious this program is. And I feel like we do need to get people back to running. Running and cardio has just gotten so slammed, I feel like, for the past 20 years, unjustly.
Yeah.
That people have this sort of fear of running or extended cardio, which is totally bad, right? Like, yes, resistance training, hugely effective. And when they compare resistance training to running for body composition, resistance training runs out, but it's still, but together they're much more effective. And there are specific other benefits to cardio that you get just from cardio as well. So this is, it's an obvious both and this program will serve it to you in a way that is effective and old school and interesting.
And something that, really reading the complete Keys to Progress again in the last couple of weeks here brought out to me is right now in the fitness space, we're kind of obsessed with optimality, right? Like, well, should I be doing 45 minutes of orange zone cardio or, 60 minutes and stuff, you know what I mean? Or, like, and at the end of the day, like that, those kinds of fine grained things. Yeah. They matter if you're like trying to shave 3/100ths of a second off your time for the Olympics. Right. But for you and me, Pat, it doesn't, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Right. Like you need to be moving weight. You need to work slow gear cardio, and you need to like occasionally redline the engine.
That's really it.
That's what, right. And don't overthink this stuff. And like, here's the deal. Like, do you really think that like on your deathbed, you're going to be saying, oh my God, it all went wrong when I took up the habit of jogging 3 times a week? No, right? Perspective. Yeah. Right. And if you look at like this is the great thing about McAllen is like, you look at these old school bodybuilders, like these guys they were in great shape all around. They were great athletes all around.
Yep.
And what did they do? They lifted and they jogged.
They ran. They lifted and they ran.
Yeah. And they ate steak and eggs. Right. I mean, so it's just like, once again, like it's not that complicated.
Yeah. Dude, this has been awesome.
Yeah.
I knew it would be. And I, again, encourage and anticipate the gentle listeners to take up this 65 Mustang and Muscle program. Again, I will have the links in the relevant places below so you can download it and have it written out. Professor, thank you so much for this wonderful episode. Guys, if you like what we're doing here, here's how you can help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that share button. Share with both of your friends, everybody that you know. Leave a comment. Let us know how it's going. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.